Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a powerful, peaceful, and productive Sunday. Hopefully, the weekend's been going all good. Hopefully, y'all got about 45 minutes to an hour to tap in with the kid, listen to the build. Man, I got some things that I want to build on or just add my 2 cents on that's been going on out here in the world, man. So, hopefully, y'all got a little time. Chop it up with me. Listen to the kid build. Give y'all about 3 to 5 minutes to tap in. Let me know how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Sunday, man. Tap in with the kid. Talk to me before I start talking to y'all, man. What's the word? How we living? How we feeling? Y'all see the subject matter, man. We got a diverse situation going on here, man. But it's some things I want to tap in on. Antonio, my brother, what's the word? Peace, peace. What's happening? Antoinette, peace. What's happening, my good sister? What's the word? Javon, peace. What's happening? What's the word? How we living? How we feeling? We tapped in. We got a diverse subject matter here today, man. But I want to add my 2 cents on all these things. So it might be unrelated, but hey, that ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new to this platform, man. Some things I just want to add my 2 cents on, like I said, man. I know y'all know about, what's going on with the bombing situation out here, man. Anthony on the move. Peace. What's happening? Oh yeah, man. Hey, it's definitely hot, man. Heat wave for sure. If you are in some of these cities that's affected by the heat waves, man, stay hydrated out here. Stay hydrated. But get that melanin charged up, man. Don't be afraid to tap in with that heat. Charge that melanin up. Man, with Dominique, Cornelius, peace. What's happening? So y'all know y'all see what's happening, man, with the United States bombing Iran and things like that, man. If you've been tapped into politics, if you've been tapped into just history, then y'all already know what's kind of going on with this, man. And I'm at a stage in my life where I'm not allowing them to instill any ounce of fear in me when it comes to things like war. I understand what's really going on. I understand that it's a collective and group effort, and they following a script when we start talking about war. So I don't allow that to get me riled up anymore. I just focus on what I can control. So I don't allow the threat of war to get me riled up anymore because I really know what's going on. Hey, nah, peace, what's happening? If you think, and it's funny because again, we have made, like I said, Donald Trump the boogeyman. But if you think the dude is just making decisions by himself, then you are foolish for thinking that. We gotta understand. We gotta understand that this is always a group effort here. It's never just one person calling these shots. So there are a lot of unseen hands, a lot of unseen voices, man, that are adding their input and are responsible for certain decisions being made. And a lot of times the same places that we are bombing are like their political leaders are also in on the situation behind the scenes, working with the said political leaders of the country that's bombing them. We've had plenty of that. Don't get me started on Osama and Saddam Hussein and how we help those particular people out from time to time. And then lo and behold, they turned out to be the enemies. Like, come on now. So I don't be falling for that type of stuff anymore, man. Like straight up. Lindell, Chris, peace, what's happening? Like we helped Saddam Hussein out back in the day when they were actually warring or going back and forth with Iran, man. We helped dude out back in the day, and then next thing you know, fast forward some years later, now all of a sudden he's public enemy number one, he's the boogeyman and all that type of stuff. So you got to understand the trick knowledge, man, and what really be going on out here, man. What's really happening. But hey, man, how y'all feel about it, man? How y'all feel about it? Y'all know my stance. Again, we got to focus on what we can control. Stay ready so we don't have to get ready. You know, learn how to go periods without consuming foods, fasting. Like get your mind and your body ready for what could possibly go down. You know what I'm saying? Learn self-defense. frugality. Hold on, y'all. I get messages, man. Gotta tap in. But yeah, learn survival skills, man. Get your survival kits ready. Like that's what you got to do, man. Like I say, train the body, train the mind, get in shape, get your heart, get your cardio up, get your strength up, you know, because you never know what might pop off, and you got to be ready for whatever. You know, you got to be prepared for the worst. You know, you ain't necessarily got to expect the worst, but you got to be prepared for the worst case scenario. You know, so as long as you prepare, that's all good. That's all that you can do. Other than that, I'm not about to allow these things to stress me out. What's going on in the world? I don't never do that. I don't do that anymore. You know, I used to get real upset about some of these things, and especially the conversations that used to be had, the back and forth, the debates, the different opinions. But now it's like, nah, focus on what I can control. Stay in shape. Make sure my health intact. You know, learn some self-defense. If some stuff pop off, can you defend yourself? Can you defend your family? Like that's what's most important. That's what's most important, man. Learn how to live on less, because hey, as things get real, you know, prices get even more real. So you know, we just gotta learn how to survive. That's it. That's it. Learn how to survive, man. That is it. Because at the end of the day, the powers that be, they gonna do what they gonna do exactly what they have written out for them to do, unless we magically band together and put an end to this. If we don't magically band together and put an end to this system, then they're following this script. So they're going to do exactly what they have written down for them to do. So they are following the agenda, and everything will go as planned unless we somehow throw a monkey wrench in the game, which I highly doubt. So with that being said, now we got to focus on what we can control. That's it. Like I said, unless we just magically jump up and say, you know what, we going to overthrow this system on some like anarchist vibes. But if we don't decide to do that, they following this script, the agenda will unfold accordingly, and it might get rough and it might get real. So you got to do what's best for you and your family, meaning you got to be in tip-top shape, and you got to know how to survive out here in the wilderness, man, because it might get to that point. So again, just prepare your mind, prepare your body for the worst. And a lot of times when it comes to black folks, when it comes to the original people, we don't be prepared for that because we don't like to think about that type of stuff, man. You know, we like to try to ignore that aspect of reality. We can't do that. We can't do that, man. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Hey, 777 for sure. And that's how it's got to be, man. Fasting, and a lot of times people hear me talk about fasting, and they don't understand the survival element behind fasting, man. When you learn how to go days without eating, man, I'm telling you, that's a valuable trait to learn, man. That's a valuable survival tactic to learn. We are so addicted to food, like that addiction will kill us when it comes to situations like this, when you got to survive without it. You know, that will kill you. But when you have mastered the art of going days without food and it doesn't bother you, you still able to function, you know, and move around, then hey, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Worry about if some things pop off. DJ Elmo Peace, what's happening? So fasting is something that we should all be doing. For one, not only does fasting help in that regard as far as a survival tactic, but then just even money wise, it's economically, you know, when you fast, like you spend less money. You know, so economically, it helps with the frugality aspect of life, man. When you just learn how to fast, man, when you just say, look, I'm gonna go 3-4 days on some water, you're not spending money on food. So that helps you become more frugal. You know, so fasting has a ton of benefits just outside of the health benefits, man. You know, economically, fasting is right and exact because it'll help you save money. And trust me, you're not gonna die, but obviously you want to work your way up to fasting for 3, 4, 5 days, you know. But when you master one day of fasting, you go up to 2, then you master 2, and then you go up to 3, man, you're gonna be spending less and less money because now you just throwing back that water. So again, this helps with the economic aspect of life. It helps you save money because I don't know if you all know this, but you know, in America, we waste a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on food, and most of the money that we spend on food is toxic and it's killing us. You know, So one way to refrain from spending that money on food is too fast. Chris, yeah, for sure. Definitely growing herbs, solar panels, growing your own food in general. Like that's something that I gotta tap in with or start tapping in with growing food. 777, yeah, the passport, man, because hey, that's definitely a possibility having to flee this country, man, you know. Because again, that's just staying ready so we don't have to get ready. Don't let anything that happens catch you by surprise because it really shouldn't, especially if you are tapped into history and you've been tapped into politics over the years. Nothing should catch you off guard. Nothing should catch you by surprise, man. Again, focus on what you can control. And what you can control is yourself and your perception of what's going on around you. You know, so just put out the best energy into the atmosphere, man. And just like I say, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Because if you, hey, the survival of the fittest, man, that's the law of evolution. Only the strong survive. So if you're not taking care of yourself and you become weak, you will not survive. So we got to look at things through that lens, man. It's always survival of the fittest, man. It's the law of evolution, and that law is on point. That law is right and exact, and that's how things unfold. If you are weak, you will get left behind, and you will not survive. So you got to make sure you one of the fittest. You got to make sure you one of the strongest, so that you can survive, and that's the key. You know, that's how I train myself. That's how I train my body to make sure I'm one of the strongest. So if anything pops off, I'm surviving. I'm making sure I'm one of the fittest. I'm not about to be the weak link in the chain. I'm not about to get left behind. I'm not about to be holding the family back. Nah, I'm going to be front line. Like, no. Tony Peace, what's happening? What's the word? But yeah, make sure you one of the fittest, man. Do not be the weak link. Don't be the weak link. Because you will not make it far. You will not last long at all if you're one of the weakest links in this chain, man. So it's time to get fit, time to get strong, time to wisen up, all of that, man. That's the type of time we are approaching, fam. Like we are approaching that type of time. Tony, there it is, man. Stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Like I say, I'm business as usual. You know what I'm saying? Business as usual. I'm not letting anything rile me up, get me overly emotional, get me nervous, have me afraid to go places. Like, nah, I'm always alert. You know, when they start talking about hold on, y'all. Let me give me a second here. I want to pull up a few things. Give me a few seconds here, man. I want to pull up a little article here. See if I can find it. You know how you be having 1,000 articles, man. I want to see if I can find this article here. Let me see here. Let me pull up this article real quick. All right, so yeah. So yeah, when I was kind of researching on the US bombing Iran, and they started talking about they threatened to release like sleeper cells in the major cities in the United States, basically just like some secret agents, you know what I'm saying, that exist within these major cities that are going to attack, you know, monumental buildings, try to come after the president, and there was like synagogues and things like that. So you got to be on the lookout for these agents, these sleeper cells. So now that's fear mongering. So now that's gonna have you looking at anybody that's of a different ethnicity, any Iranians, You about to be looking at them sideways now that they didn't said that. You know what I'm saying? So now they got you looking at these Iranians a little oddly now because they didn't told you about this threat of sleeper cells. So anybody that's Iranian, it's gonna cause you to look at them differently. Whole while some of these sleeper cells gonna be Americans. We known for having those type of agents. You know what I'm saying? We known for placing, we known for causing that type of damage. We known for placing folks that look just like us amongst a crowd and causing destruction, but then blaming it on another group. We known for that. Matter of fact, definitely white people are known back in the day. This was one of the main tactics that white people used to get black men falsely accused, and then they ended up hanging them. You know what I'm saying? It would be white dudes dressing up in blackface, committing crimes to the white women. So these white men will put on a black face and go harass their own women, and then a random black man would get falsely accused of it, and then now he gets lynched. So they known for doing that. So who's to say you're not about to have white men dressing up as Iranians in the Iranian face, causing destruction, then blaming it on them, and that's gonna further justify any of this destruction going on out here. See, we know they known for doing that. It's that trick knowledge, man. You gotta watch these folks, fam, because that's how they move. But if you haven't tapped into history, you don't know that they are capable of doing that. You know how many brothers had to die back in the day because of white men dressing up like black men, harassing their own women? You know how many of our ancestors had to die because of that? Quite a few. So when they start warning you of sleeper cells, man, we always gotta think beyond the surface. We gotta think deeper than that surface. It ain't just because they say it's an Iranian out here causing this destruction doesn't necessarily mean that that's what that is. So we got to think deeper than the surface, man, for real, because they are known for doing that to justify destruction. They'll do it. They known for it. Oh yeah, so yeah, false flags for sure. You know, and they will never admit it for the most part. You know, some of it has leaked out, you know, but they'll never admit these false flags. That's why we got to stay studious out here, man, and we got to study and we got to look beyond the surface when it comes to certain things so we can identify what's really going on. Terenzo, what's happening? Man, 777, I honestly do not know. I don't know if we are more wary of the folks than we used to be. I actually don't think that that's the case, really. If you're talking about white folks specifically, and if you're talking about this system specifically, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know because of COVID. COVID made me lose that type of hope when everybody was talking like they don't trust this system, yada, yada, yada. They not going to get the jab and this and that. And then turned around and most of the people that was saying that went and got it, putting their trust right back in this system that has been known to use us as guinea pigs medically, you know? So I lost a lot of hope then. It be sounded good. We may initially start off being skeptical, and then we go right back into the Stockholm syndrome. We go right back into, all right, you know what I'm saying? You know what? It can't be that bad. So we might start off like we don't trust something or we, you know what I'm saying, hesitant, but then we end up folding collectively for the most part. We end up either folding or just trying to ignore what's happening. And both of those tactics suck, you know, but that's what I noticed, man. COVID kind of placed the light on that for me, at least for me. I don't know about y'all, but like the people that I was around and what I noticed and observed around that time caused me to lose a little bit of hope. Like I said, it started off good. Everybody was talking, I'm talking about literally everybody around me was talking about how they was not going to get a shot, a vaccine, a jab, like literally. Like, man, I ain't getting that. I don't trust them. Everybody. I'm talking about this was like 95% of the black people that I was around. And that same 95% that was talking that tough a few months in, they folded. They folded. When you start threatening people's jobs, like there it is. We fold. If we fold, it takes nothing for us to fold. So it's like, man, we don't really be what they say now, standing on business. We don't really be standing on business how we should. We talk the talk, but when it come time to walk the walk collectively, we start folding. And that's why a lot of times it's hard for us to get things done collectively. Because again, when it's time to actually do the work and put in the work, a lot of those same people that was verbally saying, I'm with it, they not really with it. CNP for sure. I didn't get it, and I'm living just fine. And I was saying it back then, and everybody was looking at a lot of people. A lot of my own people was almost basically disowning me because of my perspective and perception on the jab and me opting not to get it. And now they telling you, they basically coming out telling you now. There have been plenty of articles that have come out over the months basically telling you that you didn't need to get it or you shouldn't have gotten it by the same people who were telling you to get it. So now you got a lot of articles that's coming out that's confirming what people such as myself were saying about it. I was getting a lot of flack for saying simple things. I wasn't even, the funny thing about it is I wasn't going as hard as I could have been. I was just literally giving people alternative methods to protect your immune system. And I was getting flack for that. So I wasn't just out here blindly telling people, man, don't get a vaccine, and wasn't giving them alternatives. I was like, listen, don't get the jab, but this is what you do. I was telling people to fast. I was telling people the herbs to take. I was telling people the foods to eat. You know, so I wasn't just telling folks, hey, don't get this jab. Be out here living reckless. No, I was like, no, don't get the jab. We don't trust that. But this is what you do to promote health, to promote a strong immune system. So it's like, man, that's ridiculous for me to have received the flack that I was receiving for saying that. I'm telling you to consume some olive leaf extract instead of getting a jab. And when you study the olive leaf extract, you see that it is very effective in regards to strengthening your immune system and fighting viruses. That's all I'm telling you to do, man. Just try an alternative approach. See how that work out for you. You know, the elderberry, the colloidal silver. Like I'm telling people the reishi mushroom. Like I'm telling people to do all these things. Like I'm giving you alternatives. I'm giving you the other side. You know, so I'm not just down in the side and not giving the alternative. That's what they were doing. They was trying to force you in a direction. You know, and that that was crazy. But now they basically coming out and confirming that you didn't need to do that. So I find that funny. Hey Zaray, you know the funny thing about World War III and that whole thing is, to be honest with you, I feel like just being a black man, I feel like we didn't been at war just by being born. Like I feel like I didn't been at war since my birth, basically. You know, so I like, you know, so it that sounds spooky, but it's like I feel like we've been at war ever since we like just been in contact with these people. You know, that's how I feel about it. You know, so when they start speaking about the different wars, I'm like, man, it's been war ever since we've been in contact with certain groups of people. Literally. Ever since the original people of the planet Earth have been in contact with specific groups of people, we didn't been at war. We didn't been at war. Like that's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's easier for us to like kind of deal with some of this type of madness that's going on, because we didn't been at war. Like, we have been at war, man. It's a war every time we leave a crib. We got war. We got war from all different directions, man. We got to worry about the government and the police turning on us. We got a war with our own people because they've been miseducated, brainwashed. They've lost the knowledge of themselves. We got to worry about these white folks that we don't, you know what I'm saying? We got to worry about them. We got to worry about these other ethnic groups that don't necessarily care about us. And then now they got the black man against the black woman. So you might get set up. out here by a woman that you're messing with. So man, it's war everywhere. When you leave the crib and you start dealing with people, man, it's war. You got to have a war mentality to survive out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why Robert Greene, that wrote the 48 Laws of Power, got the book 33 Strategies of War. Like, that's why folks be studying these books, because we at war. Like, just going to work is war now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with corporate America is war. Like, we at war, period. No matter what we doing, you know. So it's war. It's war out here, and it's been war. And that's just the mentality that we gotta have. You a soldier every day, and if you don't have that mentality, you about to be at the bottom. And like I say, every other group kind of understands this. That's why they study the books that they study. That's why The Prince is very popular amongst these other ethnic groups. That's a book about war, fam. Like, when you start tapping into some of the popular books that a lot of these corporate executives and all these political leaders like read and recommend, a lot of those books revolve around war, deception. Like, that's a lot of those books, man. Psychology, you know what I'm saying? Because they understand what this really is. We don't. But for the most part, we at war, fam. We been at war. We ain't never not at war, if you ask me. But The Prince is one of the popular books, and that is a book about war. That is a book about war, fam. You reading that book? If you read that book, you know exactly what it is. You know, in 48 Laws of Power, hey, listen, and I say it all the time. You know, people, it's mixed reviews in the black community about that book, but I love the book because that is the book. That is literally the blueprint for how these white folks operate. If you read The Prince, 48 Laws of Power, and The Art of War, there are plenty of other books, but I'm going to put that in the Holy Trinity. If you read those 3 books, you're going to know exactly what's going on out here, and you're going to be able to master white people, because those are the books that a lot of them abide by, literally. If you're in a corporate world and you read those 3 books, you're going to notice that everything that's in those 3 books is being applied by these white folks in business, in politics, all that. Those are their 3 books. They love those 3 books. The 48 Laws of Power is the blueprint to understanding wicked white folks. It's just like straight up. If you want to understand wicked white folks, the corporate white folks, these white folks that are in high positions, 48 Laws of Power is the book. Literally, that is their blueprint to power. So if you got any white person that's in a high position, I promise you, 99% of the time they have read that book and they have applied that book to their lives. Promise you. Promise you. And then Robert, like all of Robert, they probably didn't read all of his books though, like The Art of Seduction, like a lot of them, they be reading all of that. Anything that's dealing with power, war, deception, they have read it and they apply it. Like straight up. So again, we gotta adopt that mentality, man. It's war out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's war. That's how I look at it. It's war, fam. Like, it's war. We be too friendly out here. You know what I'm saying? We be too friendly. We allow everybody within our little cipher and wonder how things easily get infiltrated and corrupted. Nah, we gotta start being a little bit more strict. We gotta start being mean. You know what I mean? We afraid to be mean when it comes to people, man. Like, we gotta stop all that. We too soft. Like, that's our downfall. Like, a lot of times when you start studying our history, especially when you've been brainwashed over the years and you start studying certain aspects of our history, it's natural for you to gravitate towards the glorious parts of our story that you didn't know about, that they hid from us. But we can't let that blind us from studying our history or our story in totality. So yes, we have a glorious past that they left out, but we also had negative aspects of that past, which is how we lost the power. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we never forget that aspect of the story, man. And we get to being too soft and forgiving and loving and all that type of stuff, man. And I would argue the overly religious or spiritual side of us can be a downfall, which is how they can use certain things like religion as a weapon to get us to move in a certain direction because of that overly spiritual nature of us. To me, that's a weakness. That's a weakness, fam. So they can use a lot of these spiritual and religious systems to further their agenda on us. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, a lot of times we don't even be knowing that that's what's happening. So they use these spiritual systems and these religious systems as a weapon on us, man, to get us to move in the direction they want us to move in. And like I say, we don't be hip. All in day, man. Lindell for sure. Man, don't get me started on that, man. The sellouts. And once again, within the community, we gotta stop. Like once a person sells out, we gotta rid ourselves of that person. We don't. Hey, once you sell out, you can't come back to this side. Once you realize the grass is not greener on that side, fam, you're no longer welcome back here. We not allowing you. We don't forgive you. You know what I'm saying? That one strike, that was it. You cannot come back on this other side, fam. You can't. You know, that's how we got to start operating, man. Once somebody betrays us, that's it. You've done it. You let that person back in 9 times out of 10, that's an infiltrator, man. And they about to destroy the whole organization from inside out. We can't let those type of people back in, man. We got to start sticking to some type of code, fam. You know, once you betray the people, once you betray the community, you cannot come back in. That's how it used to be back in the day with certain tribes, man. When our tribal days, you betrayed the tribe, you was abandoned, man. They disowned you. You couldn't come back in. We don't trust you. Once you lose that trust, it's done with. We be on second, third, fourth chances. Like, nah, once we give you once we tell you, listen, these are the rules and regulations. These are the laws. You break these laws, these are the consequences. And we not, listen, when we tell you what the consequences are and you break that law, it's no turning back, man. You cannot come back within this tribe. You're going to have to find you another tribe. But this tribe, you broke this law, no coming back. Sorry, can't help you. Stay where you was at or go find you another tribe. Straight up. Straight up, man. That's how we gotta start moving, fam. Like we got the people that betray us, man. We can't keep letting them back in, and we tend to do that. We forget these folks. Sometimes we don't even be upset with them when they betray us. We be talking about we understand. Like, nah, man, when people start talking weird, I do away with them, fam. I do away with them. I don't trust you. I'm not about to be doing business with you if I can't trust you. Yeah, we definitely. Oh yeah, Lorenzo for sure. And Solo T's at Grand Chessboard. Yep. Now, before I forget, I want to talk about a few other things here, man. So we done tapped in with Bomb and Iran. We done told y'all kind of what to do, what to focus on. Now, let me get into David Banner pissing off the Christians, pissing off the Bible thumpers, man, because a lot of times we just say Christians, but there are a million other denominations that abide by the Bible the same way the Christians do. You know, like the Catholics and all that, the Lutherans, the Protestants, all these, you know, the Presbyterians, all these other denominations, man. So it ain't just the Christians, but that's the popular one that everybody knows along with the Catholics. But David Banner, I don't know if you all saw his Shannon Sharpe interview. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up, man. Pull up the video, but I don't know if y'all saw that interview. But I'm about to see if I can pull up what he said that pissed him off. Hey, I mean, pissed him off, yo. I'm about to see if I can pull it up, man. Let me see if I can find that clip real quick. And let me see if I can share it with y'all, man. Like y'all Bible thumpers, man, are some funny people. Y'all some funny folks. Let me see if I can find it. Because he didn't say this before. Okay, here we go. Yeah, all right. Hold up. Let me share this screen. Let me share this screen. Now, mind you, what he said, I don't fully agree with it but y'all gonna see why I don't fully agree with it. But I don't have a problem with what he said. I would have worded it differently in certain aspects, but I don't have a problem with what he said. But let me share this screen, man. Let me share this screen real quick. Let me share this screen, man. I didn't forgot. Let me hold on. Let me see here. All right, hold on. Share screen. Let's go. Let's do this right here. Boom. All right, let me see here. Let me see. All right, we in there. Let me go ahead. Let me see it. Let me see if I can play this, man. Play this short real quick. It ain't gonna take long. Here it is.
I don't believe in the devil. Man, devil, you the devil. The reason why they give you something exterior, so you'll never fix you. If you keep blaming on the devil, you won't fix your black ass. You the problem. Go fix you. If you didn't make the team, and the devil didn't do it, you didn't do your reps. You didn't stay in the gym. That ain't the devil, that's you. But they tell you the devil, so you will never fix the devil in your black ass. And if you really believe in God and think that God is omnipotent, how you put anything next to God? If God created the devil, you shouldn't even put the devil in the same conversation.
All right. Did y'all heard that? Let me know if y'all heard that, man. If I gotta play that again, but let me know if y'all heard that. Did y'all hear that video? Did y'all hear what David Banner said in that video? Matter of fact, hold on. I play it one more time because that was that was pretty quick. So let me play. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play it one more time. That was fast. Hold on. Let me tap back in. Play that one more good time, man, because that was a short joint, just so it could really resonate. But David Banner had said this before. This wasn't the first time that he said this. He has said this before. But let me play it one more time, man. One more time so it can really resonate with you. Hold on, one more time. Hold up. All right, because it was doing a little buffering. But let me play this one more time. Here we go.
I don't believe in the devil. Man, devil, you the devil. The reason why they give you something exterior, so you'll never fix you. If you keep blaming on the devil, you won't fix your black ass. You the problem. Go fix you. If you didn't make the team, and the devil didn't do it, you didn't do your reps. You didn't stay in the gym. That ain't the devil, that's you. But they tell you the devil, so you will never fix the devil in your black ass. And if you really believe in God and think that God is omnipotent, how you put anything next to God? If God created the devil, you shouldn't even put the devil in the same conversation.
So there it goes. Now, y'all heard what David Banner said. That was simple to me. You know, I keep an open mind when it comes to things like that. That was simple. Now, while I may not agree with it, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying. You know, if I don't agree with it, it don't matter. Like, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying when it's a different perspective. I'm gonna listen. So what he said, we take the best parts of everything. What he said to me, once I heard it, I was like, man, I see exactly what you're saying. I feel that. I see exactly what you're saying. I don't know why I dropped my guard down and forgot that these Bible thumpers be really out here. But then I started reading the comments on I think I was on Instagram, and man, boy, they was ripping my mans to shreds with that. Matter of fact, let me see if I can go find the comments, man. Let me see if I can find the comments, man. They was going in on my mans. Like people, like let me just read some of these. He's a little right, but mostly wrong. I see what he means though. Let me see. If God himself acknowledges that the devil is real, then who are we to disagree? I love him as a musician, but people be trying to sound smart and be way off base. While yes, there are things that we do that stop our own progress, there is also the devil out there on the same mission. Two can be true. Demonic activity is real. Spiritual forces are real. Where did my man say anything about spiritual forces not being real? He just said this devil that y'all have been taught to believe doesn't exist. The man didn't say anything about no spiritual forces not existing. Like, what do people be on? Y'all get emotional. There's somebody, we need to read our Bibles. Lord, what happened to him? He used to believe. Like, what is we like? These people going, Jesus, take away this podcast. They calling to take away my man's podcast because David Banner came on there and said that the devil isn't real. God literally puts the devil in conversation. This ain't it. I get what he's trying to say, but Timothy 2:15, everyone better study the word for themselves. Like, yeah, man, David just saying stuff. I pray this man finds the right help. Man, why are they acting like this man got a mental illness because of what he said? That's wild. That's nasty work. They act like they got to pray for this dude like he just got on here and just said, like he just cursed everybody mama out. That man just sat there and said this devil doesn't exist. And he was like, man, you got to fix the devil within you, the negative aspect, the worst part of yourself. You got to fix that part of yourself within yourself. Hold yourself accountable for not doing certain things. Now, when he used the not making the team situation and not doing enough reps, I wouldn't use that example because those are typically not examples where people blame the devil on it. Like you normally won't hear it, but I see why he used it because he was on Shannon Sharp's podcast, so he used a sports analogy. But those are not typical the typical analogies where people blame the devil on. So I wouldn't use that type of analogy. You know, I would have started talking more so about relationship decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like people be making certain decisions in relationships, blaming the devil for that type of nonsense. Like, man, that ain't got nothing to do with the devil. You made that decision, fam. You made that decision. Like the devil ain't bringing these people into your life. You are opening. You are accepting these people. You are accepting these people and saying you chose these people to be in your life. This ain't no devil tempting you. This is you tempting yourself because you are lusting. You know, I can't stand stuff like that. So I would have used an example like lust. You people don't have self-control and self-discipline, then try to blame the devil and say the devil is tempting them. No, you have a problem with discipline. You have a problem with self-control, and that's all that it is. This ain't no devil tempting you. It's all that it is. You are lusting because you lack discipline and you lack self-control. That has nothing to do with this devil that you're talking about. So that would have been one of the examples that I would have used. And I've even, like, when people indulge in wickedness, whatever wicked act they indulge in, I've been around people, they blame the devil for that. And it always revolves a lot of times around temptation. Man, I don't have time like this. You chose to drink that alcohol. You chose to sleep with that person that you shouldn't have slept with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you chose to go on this side of town where you know it ain't nothing but a bunch of foolery. You made these decisions, fam. They ain't got nothing to do with no devil. You know what I'm saying? You made these decisions. You got to make better decisions in your life, period. And that's what I took away from what he was saying. I just would have used a different example. That's where we differ. And then on top of that, I don't even like to use the terminology. I don't even like to use the concepts of devil and God for that reason. I don't even give them ammunition. I don't give Bible thumpers ammunition anymore because I can use other words like positive and negative, and that eliminates confusion. So when I say positive and negative, then now I have eliminated these Christians taking what I'm saying out of context because they think they have ownership over the concept of devil and God, which they do not. But just to eliminate confusion, I may say something like positive and negative. And it's literally saying the same thing as God and devil. I'm saying positive and negative. So now I have eliminated them being able to say anything of that nature towards me and my statements easily. So I don't even like to use some of their common words, man, because again, they think they have ownership over these words. They think that the only way you can perceive a God and a devil is the way that they perceive it. They think that's the only way. The only way that you can perceive a God and a devil is the way that it is perceived to them in the Bible. If you don't perceive it that way, then they about to tell you how wrong you are and how much you need to study up on the word. Do y'all know there are gods and devils in other doctrines? You know what I'm saying? Do y'all know there are higher powers and lower powers in other doctrines? Y'all do know that, right? There are other ways to perceive this thing other than the way y'all perceive it. And that should be fine. That should be fine, man. But for some reason, they think they have ownership of it. That's why I don't even want to confuse you. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to use the Christian language and say, guess what? The devil don't exist. And then start talking about your God. I'm going to tell you both of them don't exist. Like, that's how I eliminate confusion. So you know where I stand. I don't believe in your God and I don't believe in your devil. I'm not going to say I don't believe in your devil, but I'm still going to talk about your God though. No, I don't believe in any of them. So that's the way that I tend to go into those conversations so that you don't get confused. Now, mind you, when I'm telling you I don't believe in your God and I don't believe in your devil, guess what? There are a million other gods and devils out here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you right now, in this particular book, I don't believe in this God you talking about, and I don't believe in this devil. So now you don't have any confusion. And I'm going to say things like positive and negative. So there will be no confusion. There'll be no confusion. You know, so if you get into the comments with me and start talking about me needing to do this, that, and the third, like I told you where I stand. Should be no confusion. Should be no confusion. But I don't like how they think they got ownership over that word, over them words, over those concepts. My goodness. I mean, y'all heard what David Banner said to me. That was very, it made sense to me. Just basically accountability. Stop blaming your lack of discernment, your bad decision making, your laziness, lack of effort. Stop blaming that on something outside of you. That's all David Banner was saying. That's all David Banner was saying. Stop blaming your lack of effort, your laziness, your bad discernment, your poor decision making, your poor judgment. Stop blaming it on outside, exterior forces. That's literally all David Banner was saying. That's what I took away from it. To Renzo, my brother, appreciate that donation. 100%, especially with the way these Europeans use words on us. Especially the way because Elijah Muhammad called it trick knowledge. A prime example, a word that I always go back to that we use in a positive light, but is really kind of like a degrading word, is humbling or humble. Like humble yourself. When we say you should humble yourself, like you really don't want to do that. When you get to the origin of that word, it literally means like to degrade yourself. So you never really want to humble yourself. That's not a positive word. That's not something you should encourage somebody to do. So that's how they use these words to kind of trick us, man, and subconsciously keep us in a certain state. You will be saying a word and you go to the origin of it and it means something completely different than what you thought. And you've been using it like it's a positive word this whole time. So it's important, man, to just understand the history of and the origin of words that you use on a day-to-day basis, because that's how they get us sometimes, man. They use these words. They use words as weapons. They use words as weapons, man, for sure. So you gotta tap in. Like they gotta you using a word that got 5 different definitions. Man, that's trick knowledge, man. That's trickery. How am I using one word and it's got 3 or 4 different definitions? It can mean 3 or 4 different things. That's trickery, man. That's trickery. Like that is trickery. That's trick knowledge, man. Just one word. It's the same exact word, but it can mean 3 or 4 different things. Okay. They using words as weapons on us, man. 2 block, peace. Appreciate that donation for sure. So man, we gotta stay studied up on the words, man. I keep me like a vocabulary. I got my word sources right here, man. I keep a vocabulary builder on me. Just help you understand the word. And all these give you the origins of words. You know, I keep a vocabulary builder on me. I keep a thesaurus on me. And I got my dictionary right here. I keep my dictionary right here. Boom. I keep these things on me. I try to learn different words every day. And it's not just the definition of the word, man. Like it give you the breakdown of the word. It give you the breakdown. You know, so you gotta master the language, man. Gotta master the language that we use. Yeah, the Black Law Dictionary, because then that's another way they get you. Like you using words on a day-to-day basis that mean one thing, then you go into the courts again, completely different. Like my goodness, like the words just change up all of a sudden. You know, so you got to study what the word means on a day-to-day regular basis, and then you got to study what the word means from the law perspective, which is a totally different ball game. You know, so these words, depending on the environment that you are in, like that can define the word that you use. Like it's crazy. But we gotta study those things, man. We take something like words for granted. We take something like the origin of words for granted. Like even when I started to like for the longest, right? Because y'all know I'm left-handed. You know, and for the long, y'all know the stigma attached to left-handed folks. And I'm like, man, what in the world? And then I started studying the origin of the word, and it went back to sinister. Ah, I got it. So they want you to paint left-handed people in a sinister light. So they literally gave us a word that when you go all the way back to the origin, it means sinister. That's why they have a fear of left-handed folks. And we not sinister. They fear us because of how powerful we actually are. And that's why they want you to be right-handed. Man, it's a certain gift that comes with being left-handed, fam. Certain gift that comes with being left-handed. But those folks fear that gift. So they was like, man, we got to paint these people in the most vile light. So when you start studying left-handed left, it goes back to meaning sinister. Like straight up. And like that, like back in the day, if you was left-handed, they tried to force you to become right-handed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now I see why. And there we go. You start learning the history of that. You know, because for the long, like I said, I was left-handed. So and they used to get, oh man, you left-handed. And man, I'm like, man, why is everybody tripping? Because I'm left-handed. When I was young, I didn't know. And I found out. Terenzo, and the funny thing about what you said is they don't understand that literally that's that nightmare when right and left become one. When you get a naturally left-handed person and you make him seem like it's evil, you force him to use his right. So now I'm able to use both my hands. So now I'm ambidextrous because of that. Like I write with my right hand. Like I do a lot of different things with my right hand, but I'm left-handed dominant. But one of the reasons why I'm like I can do certain things with my right hand because of that. Like I write with my right hand, but I write like a left-handed person. You know what I'm saying? So you literally made me better by being afraid of me being left-handed because now I know how to use both my hands. I'm playing baseball, I can switch hit. Like I'm more dangerous now because I know how to use both my hands. So that's the funny part about it. You make me more dangerous by being afraid of me because I'm left-handed and trying to force me to use my other hand. Because man, I don't care how hard you try to force a person that's left-handed to be right-handed. That left hand is just going to take over. So that's funny. You know, so shout out to my left-handed folks, man. You know, it used to be rough out here, man. Still a stigma attached to us. But man, I just want to I just want to laugh at all that. I want to laugh at all the Bible thumpers, man, that was coming at David Banner, man. I haven't went in on a religious tip in a minute. I try to give y'all some leniency because I used to go hard on the Bible thumpers. I used to go hard on religious folks. I used to go hard. Y'all know my view when it comes to religion. Y'all know my views on that. I've been vocal about it. But I've been trying to ease off of that. But sometimes y'all do not allow that to be easy. Sometimes y'all don't. I'm not saying y'all got to sit back and accept what David Banner said and not be able to voice your opinion. But it's even the way you go about doing that. First of all, y'all talk about not judging folks, not being judgmental. Secondly, a lot of you all profess about how open-minded you all are, and you say everybody is attacking y'all religion and things like that. But then the moment somebody disagrees with something y'all say, that's how y'all treat it. Like, come on, man, y'all got to be a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more respectful, because we could be going a lot harder on y'all. A lot harder. But give me a second here, y'all. But yeah, we could be going a lot harder on the religious community. But some of us have let off, man, because we ain't got time for that. But when y'all come out and attack bro like that for some simple statement like that, man, y'all have gotta chill, bro. Because the funny part about this is Elijah Muhammad them told you the devil is a man. We gonna tell you the white man is the devil. We can show and prove a lot of this, man. We can show and prove through history how these people are performing these devilish acts, bro. We can show and prove that to you. You know, we can show you the devil in human form. We can show you the devil in human form. We can show you those characteristics in human form. But what y'all cannot show and prove to us is this devil that y'all speak of. Y'all can't physically bring that devil in front of us, man. Y'all can't. And that's just an actual fact. We can show y'all those tendencies in human form, though. We can show y'all a person that's possessing devilish traits and tactics. We can do that. That's easy. That's easy to show and prove. You know, when people out here killing innocent people, man, somebody out here touching babies, we can show y'all that act in human form. So we can tell y'all that act right there, that's devilish. But this man told y'all this devil that y'all subscribe to don't exist, and y'all got mad and said he do. Show and prove. Go bring us this devil y'all talking about. And I don't want to hear any type of spiritual nothing. No, if y'all telling me he exists, y'all said he. If y'all telling me this devil does exist, show and prove. I don't want to hear you talk about spirits and stuff like that, angels, falling. No, I don't want to hear none of that. Y'all told me, y'all got mad at David Banner and told this man that this devil that he said doesn't exist exists. I want somebody to get on this platform, get on YouTube, bring a camera up, and show me this devil they talking about. If we not talking about devils in human form, if we not talking about devils in human forms, then I need for somebody to get on this camera, get on this platform, and show and prove to me. That's it. If y'all telling me he do exist, bring him to the surface. Bring him on camera. And again, outside of human form, because we didn't. Plenty of our ancestors then told you this devil exists in human form. Our Ethiopian brothers back in the day, our Ethiopian ancestors painted or depicted the devil as a white man. So this ain't something that came from 5%ers in the Nation of Islam. This existed way back when the devil was depicted as a white human being. The Ethiopian brothers and sisters, way back in the day, before your great grandparents was even thought of, they depicted the devil in human form as a white guy. So again, any type of devil you talking about outside of human form, show and prove. Other than that, what you mad for? Other than that, how is he wrong? How you gonna tell this man he wrong, but you can't prove it? You can't prove nor disprove it. So how is he wrong? How can somebody be wrong about something that you can't prove nor disprove? You can't disprove what he said. You cannot disprove what David Banner said. All them Christians that disagreed with him and said he was wrong, y'all can't disprove it. All he said was this devil y'all talking about don't exist. How can you tell that? How can you disprove that? That's all that we saying. For the most part throughout history, all the gods that were depicted were in human form. All the devils that were depicted were in human form. All the evil forces were in human form. Historically speaking. Don't get mad at me, get mad at history. And for the most part, like, just get mad at history. Don't get mad at me. This is not something I'm making up. Now, on to the last part of what I wanted to talk about. And this ain't even going to take long. I just thought it was funny. Mr. Jim Jones, you know, Dipset member back in the day, got on man, what was he on? He was on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast, man. And Fat Joe had asked him something about, I think, a young bull comparing him to Nas or something. And it led to Jim Jones just going on a whole rant about how he more relevant than Nas and how his son doesn't know any Nas songs. And like, dude just got to going in. I'm like, what? First of all, Jim Jones, if your son doesn't know any Nas songs and you're failing him as a hip hop father, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something to brag about, saying your son doesn't know any Nas records. You better introduce, it's your duty to introduce the kid. Like, of course, these young bulls, they only gonna know what's coming out during their time, fam. You got to introduce them to that. When I got introduced to Eric B and Rakim. I got introduced to that by my older brother and my pops. I got introduced to Too Short now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got introduced to NWA. They was a little bit before my time. So I got introduced to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I found out about. I got introduced to them. You know, so if your son doesn't know any Nas records, like, that's partially your fault, fam. What are you introducing him to? And you just letting him follow what the radio, like what the algorithm is telling him to listen to. That's your fault. The artists I listen to, I gotta introduce them to the kids, man, because they're not gonna go find these folks. So I gotta do my due diligence as an adult to introduce the youth to positive music, because positive music is not gonna hit the algorithm. Come on, Jim Jones, we know that. They promote destruction. So the youth is gonna hear the destruction before they hear any type of positive music, any type of lyricism. They're not gonna hear that. They're gonna hear destruction first. So you got to introduce them to the positives. So you choosing not to do that. So that's not a flex that your kid don't know anything, don't know Nas records. That ain't a flex, bro. That's come on, that's not a flex. And then my man was making it seem like Nas is like 20 years older than him. The dude was like, Nas came out when he was a junior in high school. Man, Nas is what, like 51, and I think Jim Jones is like 47, about to be 48. Bro, y'all the same, y'all, that's your peer, fam. Like, I'm like, what is this dude? Jim Jones, what they say? They say Jim Jones is the oldest YN in America. And I agree, man. Jim Jones wants to be a young Negro so bad, it's ridiculous, bro. It is okay to be 47, 48. You made it, bro. Like, why are you still out here trying to act like you 19 for, fam? It is okay to mature. Bro, it is okay. It is okay to mature and still support the younger generation. Like, I don't have to act and dress like the younger generation to support them. Fam, like, it is okay, bro. It is okay to be unc. It is okay to be pops. It is okay to be grandpops, man. That just means you made it. You living. You surviving. That's okay, bro. I don't have to. I'm not about to be acting like I was at 17. No. I'm not about to be out here 48 still sagging, man, where you see my draws. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, bro, what is you on? And then, and I'm going to even give Jim Jones some credit. Jim Jones, to me, was the weakest by far in Dipset back when they first came out. And I'm not even just talking amongst Jewels and Cameron. Jim Jones is weaker than JR. Like, I like JR Writer, Hell Rail, man, Uncasa. I was a Dipset fan. For those that don't know, I was a Dipset fan. Those were my guys, man. Like, Dipset was my guy, and Jim Jones was my least favorite. Even when he branched off and did like Purple City Burger, Jim Jones was my least favorite. I didn't even like the ball We Fly High. I didn't like that song. I like Certified Gangsters that he did with the Game. That was one of, and then he had a song with Lil Wayne on one of his albums, Weatherman. He had a few songs, some with Miami with Trey Songz. That was cool songs. I didn't like We Fly High. I couldn't stand that song. He had a few songs that were cool, but I didn't even like the songs because of him. I couldn't stand I didn't like the way he rapped. But I would say he got way better. Like nowadays, Jim Jones is actually decent. But back in the day, I couldn't stand. I was like, man, I do not like this dude. You know, I did not like Jim Jones back in the day. Now, I would say he's probably better than Juelz and Cam'ron as far as like now. If all three of them put out an album now, Jim Jones might have had a better album now. Like Jim Jones got way better. And that's just me being objective. But back in the day, nah, he was like dead last on the Dipset rap chain. Like I was like, I do not need to hear anything about from Jim Jones now. No. But now he actually got better, way better. And I can admit that. But man, when you start acting like you in the same category as Nas, nah, fam. No. Then he said he was like, pull up the numbers. He was like, pull up the numbers. Check the Billboard numbers. I'm like, what is he talking about? Even when you pull up the numbers, Nas is still better than you. And then I had made a post on Facebook because this is exactly what he did. See, this is the new popular thing. The new popular thing to do on social media, right? Like, this is what I said on Facebook verbatim, and I just lost it just like that. Hold on. This is what I said on Facebook. I said the new move on social media is to say something dumb, then act like you only said the dumb statement for clickbait and to generate some attention / momentum. I said, nah, bro, you meant that dumb statement. You just mad the people didn't agree and you trying to play it off. And then they start saying things like, oh man, y'all take this social media stuff too seriously. That's what Jim Jones just did. Bro, you made a dumb statement. You thought the dumb statement you made was valid. You got overly emotional. And then you tried to make it seem like that ain't like you really don't believe that, and you just did it for attention and for to go viral and to stay in the algorithm. And you teaching us a lesson. No, fam. Jim Jones, you did not gain any more fans by making the dumb statement. We literally just tap it in and tell you how dumb the statement was, and we about to quickly forget about you. And mind you, this is coming from, I told you, I think Jim Jones got better. I actually became a Jim Jones fan later on in life. And he be working out, he about the fitness. But this particular part of the game, Jim Jones, no. You will never be in the same sentence as Nas. I just don't care how good you get. You have never dropped. Nas's worst album is better than your best album. Whatever you think Nas's worst album is, if you think it's Nostradamus, that's just because a lot of people say Nostradamus is better than whatever you think Jim Jones's best album is. And it ain't even close. So whatever Nas's worst album is to you, put that up against Jim Jones's best album, whatever that is, and I promise you Nas's album is better. His worst album is better than Jim Jones's best album. Nas's most annoying, one of his annoying records, the hit records, is better than Jim Jones's best record to me. And this is not, it's not a Nas track. I think it was on the Braveheart album, but that Uchi Wally joint, I can't stand that. Yeah, I couldn't stand that song for real, but I'd take that song over any Jim Jones record. Maybe Summer with Miami is an exception. I may take Summer with Miami, Summer in Miami or whatever, with Trey Songz on that. Maybe. Deshaun for sure, man. Like I said, I think he got better. So I like the current Jim Jones. Like he rap now, I might listen. Back in the day, though, I couldn't stand him. I was a Cam'ron was my guy. Juelz was my guy. J.R. Ryder was my guy. Hell Rail was my guy. Uncasa was my guy. Like I liked everybody in Dipset, but Jim, I literally, man, anybody from back in the day, man, I was big on. I could not stand Jim. I was like, I don't know what it was. I didn't like the way he rapped, nothing. But like I said, he got better. And I was Dipset to the core. Man, I'm like Dipset to the core. My freshman year of high school for homecoming, I wore a Dipset shirt. Jim Jones was on the shirt. You know what I'm saying? I wore Cameron, Jewels, Jim Jones. It was a shirt. That was my homecoming outfit to show you how much of a Dipset fan I was. So I've been a Dipset fan since Dipset was a thing. But I just never I didn't care for Jim Jones at that time. So for him to be saying he's in the same, just could even be in the same stratosphere as Nas is wild. Like he ain't even in the same stratosphere as some of his other group members, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got to be in the same stratosphere as Jewels and Cameron before you can hit Nas. I'm like, what is he like? That I don't like older gentlemen trying to do things for clout, man. That's just, come on, man. We can't be doing that, fam. Like, grow up, man. I'm not about to get on here and start saying some outlandish things just for attention, and I'm 50. If I haven't generated the clout that I need to maintain or sustain my success by 50, then it's just like, I'm gonna call it a wrap. I'm not about to be out here at 50 trying to gain new fans and go viral by saying dumb stuff. If I can't be true to myself at 50, man, and not have to cause controversy to hit the algorithms at 50, like I messed up in life. At 50, I should have a solid fan base to where I could just focus on my craft and I don't have to be out here saying crazy stuff for people to tap in with me. By the time I hit 50, man, I should be able to say exactly what it is that I've been saying all over the years and stick to what I've been doing, and it's enough. I shouldn't have to be saying some things like I'm better than Tupac at 50. Like, come on, man. Like, we should be past that at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. Come on, man. Like, chill out, bro. Chill out, bro. Like, I started naming a bunch of MCs that I would take over Jim Jones. It's just like Jim Jones ain't even in my top 100. I promise you. If I sit down, I'd name 100 people better than Jim Jones. And I listen to a lot of music. And I promise you, I can name 100 MCs better than Jim Jones. I promise you. If I sat down a piece of paper, I promise you, it would be nothing for me to do that. Nothing. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Promise you. But again, I'm not mad at you for feeling great about yourself. Like, man, as you know, from a competitive nature, yeah, you're supposed to feel like you better than folks, man. But it's, come on, fam. It's just a way to go about that, man. It's a way to go about that, man. For one, Jim Jones, you just know. I don't think there's anybody on this planet that's really about to sit here and say, man, let me listen to that Jim Jones over Nas. I just don't know if I know anybody that'll say that. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe some young bulls will say that, but that don't mean that you better. Don't mean that you better, fam. That just means the young bulls, for one, wasn't introduced to Nas, and they may not be able to comprehend and understand what Nas is saying at this point. But I promise you, when you introduce a young bull to Nas and you give him time to mature, he's going to take Nas over Jim Jones every day. I promise you. Because it was certain artists back when I was 16 and 17 that I didn't understand. I couldn't appreciate them because I hadn't lived long enough. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't came across a lot. So there were certain artists that I was listening that I came across at 16 that when I became 25, I was like, hold on. I couldn't appreciate them at 16 or 17 though. Nas was he was one of them. Like, I didn't appreciate Nas until a little bit later, even though I was kind of around when Nas was like flourishing, like his second album for sure. I was born when Illmatic was out, you know what I'm saying? But for his second album, I was definitely around, but I wasn't listening to him at that time because I was just young, man. By the time I got older, I was like, oh no, Nas, that's more my vibe. So it was a lot of artists that I got introduced to when I was young, but I just didn't understand what they was on. Then I got a little bit older. I say, okay, now I understand. Now I comprehend. Now I get it. So it's the same with the Jim Jones and Nas, man. You give you introduce a child to Nas, give him time to mature. He's going to say, okay, Nas is better. So Jim Jones, man, don't be childish, man. Don't be childish like that for some attention and clout, man. Don't be that guy. Man, come on, man. Just don't be that guy. And Jim Jones was that guy. We hate to burst your bubble, man, but you're never going to be better than Nas. I'm sorry. There are a lot of other artists that you got to work your way up to being better than before you step to somebody like Nas, man. Come on. Sharif, man, I bought Stillmatic for sure. Because listen, I ain't never been the biggest Jay-Z fan, so Stillmatic, I had to go get Stillmatic. Just off of GP. I had to go get Stillmatic. Just off of me disliking Jay-Z. See, a lot of people be hearing about these artists that I dislike. I've been disliking a lot of these folks from way back in the day. Like I ain't just started disliking some of these people. And mind you, when I say I dislike an artist, that don't mean I haven't listened to him. I listen to everything Jay-Z put out. I just don't care for him. You know, but when Stillmatic came out, man, Ether was the joint. I went and got, man, as soon as it dropped. You know, albums used to drop on Tuesdays. Tuesday, I think I sent my brother to get it for me. Because I was in school. I used to send my older brother, I used to have him get CDs for me when they dropped on Tuesday because I ain't want them to sell out on me. You know, so I sent my big brother to go get the CD for me. So then when I was out of school, there it was. You know, back when albums dropped on Tuesdays. Y'all remember that? You know, so I used to send Big Bro. If I wasn't able to go get it after school, or if I felt like it was gonna sell out, I was like, hey, Big Bro, give me the CD, give me that Stillmatic. You know, so that's how I use that. Hey, Stillmatic, I had that for sure. You know, I used to, man, come on, Rewind, come on, fam. Destroying Rebuild, man, it's come on, man. One Mic, Ether Got Yourself a Gun, like that. That's one of them albums, man. Jim Jones ain't got no album that's comparably close to that album. And that's just Stillmatic, man. Don't get me started on Illmatic. Man, Distant Relatives is one of my favorite joints with him and Damian Marley. It was written and slept on, man. Like, come on. Life is Good. When he got, come on, man. Like, what is he? All the King's Diseases that came out. I will take all of them over anything Jim Jones has put out. And then the Magic joints, like the Magic, all three of them, all of the stuff that Nas just put out, that he just released, I would take any of that over anything Jim Jones has released. And like I said, I think Jim Jones has improved. But I'm still going to take current Nas over current Jim Jones. So Jim Jones in his best state, this is the best Jim Jones has ever been, and he still ain't touching Nas to me. So come on, Jim Jones, man, grow up, chill out, man. It's okay to say somebody's better than you. It's okay, bro. It's okay, fam. It is okay. Nobody would have been mad if you just gave Nas his props and his flowers without you having to say you more relevant than him or you better than him. We would have been okay. We would have respected you a lot more than saying this foolishness, man. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I done touched on all the subjects I wanted to touch on, man. Hopefully y'all took some jewels away from this particular stream. If not, if you didn't catch it, rewind it from the beginning, man. And hey, get them views up, man. But man, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Appreciate the donations, man. Appreciate the comments. As always, peace chopping it up with you all, man. I'm gonna tap in with y'all again next weekend, probably Sunday. You know, so y'all be easy out here, man. I'm gonna let y'all get back to enjoying the rest of y'all Sunday, man. I'm out. Y'all be easy. Peace.